Hey everybody and welcome to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. No time for music today. We got to get straight into it because I am working on a time frame. It is raid night and I have to be on raid for like 7:15. So we have an hour, boys, and girls potentially. Let's get straight into it. So for those who are new, hi, welcome to the Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. I'm Aiden. Welcome to the Blight Surgery. This is a plague surgery. This is where we basically look at our viewers lists, our members lists, who are preferential, well not preferential, but guaranteed to get your list seen at Blight Lord tier and above. And we got some list to look at tonight, and we give feedback and advice and ways to improve it. Or maybe sometimes we look at your list and we actually like yours, and I end up stealing with yours. Yep, no messing about here. Straight into the business tonight. So, getting straight into it, I already had 5 people from last stream who were here in chat and tagged me and what theirs looking at. So we've already got quite the list built up tonight. So we're going to try and get through as many as we can again. But do not worry, we will have these our at least weekly minimum streams, so they are coming up. And I am going to do my event recap probably tomorrow. Just haven't had a time in the past few days, unfortunately. So quick sippy of the old drink here. Let me just do a sip. Let's get into it. So first up, we've got serendipitously sane. That's a mouthful. Hi Aiden, long time listener, first time caller. I finally built up my army after 6 months. Excellent, but I'm looking to improve. Cool. Played 5 games post-nerf with this list or similar, including 3 at an RTT. Record is 2-1-2 and 1-2 at an RTT. Okay, so 2-1. Okay, so overall 2-1-2 and 1-2 at the RTT. Okay. In 0 of my games did both Plague and Marine bricks do work. Usually the melee brick gets shot up or just goes into a tough tag and does nothing. Feels like I can roll over inexperienced players but hit a brick wall against enemy with a plan. Also feel significant pressure from the enemy rear line which I can't respond to, hence that stupid Wildy. It's Forge Fiend. Have proposed some changes below. Would love to hear your thoughts on better ways to improve the list. Other thing is I would like to minimise model changes because of limited hobby time. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Makes sense, and we always say that. We never recommend we rip apart a list and start all over again, because that's not good, because again people have limited options, limited toolboxes to work with, and limited time to get stuff painted, so do not worry about that at all. So let's have a look what we're working with. Hello to everybody in the chat. Beard is looking horrible today, Kyle. This is going tonight. I need to have a shave tonight. I've been very lazy. This is going away. It's way too long. And hello to everyone else that's in the chat as well. Good to see you all. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Unfortunately, it's work tomorrow. Boo. So we've got a Biology Putrefier, a Foul Blight Spawn, Lord of Contagion, a Lord of Virulence, Malignant Playcaster, and a Tallyman. Then we've got 2 bricks of Plague Marines, one rocking the Plague Series Blight Launchers, these more standard loadout of mix of weapons, and then we've got 1 heavy melee sort of unit there. Okay, and then we've got a big brick of Blight Lord Terminators, that's 370 points, 2 squads of Chaos Spawn, 2 squads of Poxwalkers, 2 squads of Death Shroud Terminators, then we have Rhino. Okay, so straight up, I get your issue right now. You have 0 long range shooting. You also, in my opinion, have too many bricks. Right now, after the points changes, I feel like you have to make a choice on what your brick's going to be. Death Shroud squads are now expensive with the characters. Plague Marine bricks have always been expensive, and a Blight Lord brick is never expensive. I think you need to straight away cut one of these bricks, just straight up. And I think you need to decide whether you prefer the Blight Lord brick or if you prefer the Plague Marine plays. Now, because it's Champions of Contagion, you kind of want to have you need to have characters in all your squads, so that's already going to determine that. So you got a lot of Contagion here with like a Death Shroud squad. That tells me you could potentially drop the second Death Shroud squad if you're going to play Champions. If you want to keep that, I would probably recommend that you keep the I would recommend you probably keep it if you play Virulent Vectorium. You can keep a 3-man bare bones. But when you're playing Champions, you're kind of missing off the potential of that 5+ crits, which just makes this detachment go kind of crazy, insano style. So for me, I'm instantly looking at cutting like either a Death Shroud squad and a Plague Marine brick entirely. That then is going to fill you up, because like when I've played Champions of Contagion, I normally go like 2 Death Shroud squads, 1 big 10-man Marine brick, and then that's really all you need for like character power like wise, because they just hit so hard. You can then bring like a Typhus Pox or something like that. But again, I'm not too fussed about that. Now, I really don't like the melee Plague Marine brick. I've never liked it, because the problem I have with melee Plague Marines is Plague Marines to me are such an expensive unit. They almost, and again, especially in MSU matchups, like you could, okay, cool, you can charge a unit and kill it, but like you might not. Especially big things in melee. I just don't find the melee that reliable. You're going to have the rerolls probably going onto your Death Shroud Terminators. The shooting is what kind of makes Plague Marines good. The idea that you're active in both phases. You can walk out, you can shoot something, you can kill that, and then you can charge and kill that, or put some damage onto it. The melee just limits you to one phase only, and if God forbid if you fail a charge as well and you haven't shot anything, you just lose a 300-point unit for literally nothing. So I just really don't like full melee bricks. Full melee bricks for me are a defensive unit that you run with a foul blight spawn, for example, and they're basically going to sit around middle and look for a heroic intervention to something, or to defend a primary objective. I don't like them as an assaulting unit. I think the guns right now on Plague Marines are just too worth taking, so I would probably cut that brick. That's my initial thing. That then allows you to save the 190 points there and the Rhino cost. So you have 270 points back straight there. Then it's, yeah, for me it's straight up. You need shooting, right? You need some guns in here. You really need some guns in here. So for me, I would like to see you know, some cheap demon engines. Like you said here, you've got Mythic Blight Haulers, they'd be good. Switch to Virulent Victorian Melee Brick, 350 can go to 2 HBL drones, MBH and Demon Weapon of Nurgle. That would be a good shout. That there's probably the shout I like the most here, because as I said, I don't like this second Death Shroud squad not having characters. That makes it okay in VV. The melee brick I'm already looking to cook. I'm just not a fan of it. I feel like the playcast and the Barrage Fire should instead just be in the gun squad, and that's it. You don't like, you got a foul blight spawn, that's not bad, but for 75 points to just sit on that squad, I'm not a huge fan. And again, you've already got a big anvil brick with the Blight Lord Terminators, so if you're going to keep that around, that's going to basically like be the wall for your opponent to break themselves upon already. So it's kind of making me go off having another Plague Marine brick. So I would cut a Plague Marine brick, get some Demon Engines in here, whether it's HBL drones with fake Blight Halls, because it depends if you like HBL drones, because they're quite casino cannon. Now you do have an LOV in your list, a lot of virulence, and then if you switch to VV, you can get real shot amounts. Kind of just makes them generically just a lot more reliable. So that would give you a little bit extra reach. I personally would probably want even a little bit more shooting, because I'm just very thingy at the moment. Like, shooting is really important. So you could go... What can we get for that? I feel like you need to pick whether you want Blight Lords or the Plague Marines, really. I think... But, yeah, I mean, if we do not change it too much, the second option right there is the one I like the most. Because you get some shooting in your list. You also pick up Demon Weapon of Nurgle, which is really good for a lot of contagion. Just makes the unit slap a lot harder. And 2 HBL drones and a Mythic Blight Hauler make me feel a lot happier about the entire list in general. I would... Because, I mean, what's in that melee brick to make it cost 350? You've got the 190 plus the 85, so that's 275. And is it the 75 from the... That makes it 350? Yeah, it is the Foul Blight spawn, yeah. So you call that out. You get all those changes in there, give you some nice shooting firepower. You still get your Plague Marines with a 10. And again, in Virulent Victorium, this 10-man shooting Plague Marine unit is way more valuable than the melee one, because the one command point fully rolls to hit and wound. That's really nice to have. So that straight up is going to be my favourite of the three. Let's have a quick read of the other ones. Second Lord of Contagion, 2 Mythic Blight Hall plus Final Agreement plus Visions of Virulence. That's not bad if you really want to play Champions of Contagion. When I play Champions of Contagion, I tend to go, like I said, 10 Plague Marine Brick, double Death Shroud with Lord of Contagion each, and then I just tend to fill it with, like, cheap things or Demon Engines. I don't feel like you need, like, this. The Blight Lord Brick is such a commitment in points, because it's 470 points for that in Lord of Virulence. Not that it's bad, but I feel like you make, right now, because the points increases, you have to make a choice between having a Plague Marine Brick or having something like a Blight Lord Brick. And if you want to keep those in there, cut one and go with this VV route. And I think that's going to be the best option for you there, mate. Because I think that's going to give you the most options in general. Gets you some guns. Again, 3 HBL drones kind of what makes them reliable. But again, if you play VV, the stratagem plus Lord of Virulence makes 2 kind of work. Gives you that bit of long-range firepower. So, yeah, I think my vote's going to be on your second one there, mate, honestly. I think you can go with your second one. I also am not sure if you need... There's a weird thing right now. So here's the thing right now. Also, we need to think about metas. And right now, I'll tell you right this second, we were hoping Knights may be going away or getting toned down a bit. Yeah, that's not happening. Knights are going to be absolutely everywhere. Knights are probably going to be one of the best armies in the game going forward. If their points don't change, they're definitely one of the best armies in the game. And they're going to be one of the most toxic armies in the game because they're going to turn one, be in your deployment zone and shooting you. So you definitely... I was actually getting to a point where I was debating dropping to 1 unit of Poxwalkers and just using Chaos Spawn instead, which I know was shared by Gibby over in Nurgle's Mansion after we've been having some discussions. But now the need for infiltrators is basically like tenfold, otherwise you will have an Imperial Knight player on top of you turn 1. It is such a joke, that book. But, you know, I'm not going to get too into that. So yeah, for this one, mate, let's go for the second one. I think that's going to give you a bit more shooting, a bit more long-range firepower, the ability to fight back. If you're struggling to use Plague Marines already, don't take 2. Just take 1. It's much easier to play around 1 and get value out of 1 squad of Plague Marines than it is 2, because 2, often, like you said, you'll find 1 not doing anything. You need to lure your opponent out first with more cheap units, so you can lure them out with these Demon Engines, like this Solo Mephitic Blighthauler can even do that pretty well, and then you'll be able to pounce them with the Plague Marines. The melee in the Plague Marine squad, and again, this is another way you'll help get better at using the Plague Marines. The melee in the Plague Marine squad in VV is mainly there for shooting, you know, just bang bang, shooting stuff. 1 CP, full roll, sit wound, really good. The melee is just for cleanup. It is just for cleanup. You do not go into a full health dedicated scary unit with the melee and the Plague Marines. It's too unreliable. You shoot it, and if it's got a couple wounds left, so you shoot a knight and it's down to 8 wounds, you charge it and you kill it. But you can go charge like 5-man squads, things like that, obviously, easily. But I've had them bounce for a Rhino. 5 guys, just, 10 guys, sorry, have bounced off a Rhino. It can happen, it's unlikely. Whereas if you shoot the Rhino, it's dead, because full rolls is stupid. So just bear that in mind. So taking away that second unit of Plague Marines is also going to stop you getting caught in those moments. I just really don't rate the full melee squad, I'll be honest with you. So yeah, I think that's going to be the best choice for you here, serendipitously sane. Go with that second option there. Give it a whirl, see how it feels. And I think that will do you a lot better in general, because just going to get all that reach as well and take away the pressure of trying to perform well with these big 300-point bricks of Plague Marines. But it lets you keep your Blight Lords as well, which is really nice. So yeah, I'm gonna say that's gonna be your best option there, mate. Right, who did I tag? Who tagged me second? So that's serendipitously. Right, here we go. Next one we got Ruthless, who tagged me. Not in his own comment though. Oh no, Ruthless, where are you? Let me find you, Ruthless. Ruthless. I can see Potato. It's an arc. Come on. Where are we at, Ruthless? There you are, Ruthless. Okay, Bus is coming. Right. So, Death Guard, Mortarian's Hammer. Okay, so playing Hammer still. A lot of Contagion, a lot of Virulence with Tendril Submissions, and then we got a Plague Bus. Okay. 2 5-man Marines, Plague Marines, the Rhino. So it's 2 5-mans in a Rhino with the Plague Casters. We've got 1 Squad Death Shroud, 2 Squad Death Shroud, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 HBL drones, 2 Spitter drones, 2 Mephitic Blighthauls, and 2 Poxwalkers. So what I'm going to say here straight up is drop Shriekworm Familiar. Drop the Plague Marines. They just do not do enough in this detachment. Just run the Plague Bus as a Flamer tank. Just have the guys in it. It is a Flamer tank. That is all you need to do. You can drive through walls, you can shoot stuff and burn things. That will probably do better for you. And then use the 200 points you'll now have, because he's a 95 each, plus you drop Shriekworm, to get yourself another Blight Hauler and another Fetid Bloat Drone. Make the most out of this being a vehicle attachment. Make the most out of abusing those rules. Just getting as many, 9 Demon Engines plus 2 Squads of Death Shroud plus a horrendous Flamer tank. That's awful to deal with. People are really going to struggle with that. It sticks to the skew a bit more. So the strengths of the detachment, because again, these Plague Marines gain very, very little from it. They gain basically nothing. It actually makes them worse, because their entire shtick is to contagion things at range, but you can do that automatically in this attachment, so they really lose value in this attachment. And you would just genuinely be better with 2 more Demon Engines in here, and then just have the Rhino with the Playcaster is totally fine. Just treat it like a Flamer Bus. Drives through a wall, 2d6 plus 6 auto hits, blow things away. Completely fine. Don't need anything else out of that unit. That is more than happy. And you've still got 2 incredibly scary Death Shroud drops here. Still got an LOV that can hang around with the bit HBL drones. And you're just going to have a lot more to play up the field with. Because again, triple Mephitic Blight Horse, annoying as hell. Triple Fetid Bloat Drone. You can take another Flesh Mote or another Plague Spitter. Doesn't really make too much difference in that regard there. You can go either or. It's not really a huge difference there. So yeah, that would just instantly play to the strengths more of the detachment about being all vehicles, plays to the skew nature of it as well. And two bet like 5-man Marines are okay. They're mainly best used in VV because a 5-man Plague Marine squad is decent. 5-man Plague Marine squad with on-demand full hit and wound rerolls in shooting becomes very good because they can uptrade quite a lot. You can, 4 plasma guns, a blight launcher, and a spear around a corner. Shoots at a squad of like 5 scouts, just guarantee kills them pretty much. So it's just like boop, gone, they're guaranteed. Don't have to worry about random rolls because it's just the full rerolls are crazy. In here, they don't really get any benefit, so I'm just going to say drop those guys, get yourself 2 more demon engines in here. Bob's a good one, like, it's nice, simple, straightforward hammer list. Abusing the fact that demon engines are so cheap, stupidly cheap. You're going to have 9 demon engines, 2 squads of very scary Death Shroud, and an incredibly strong flame bus, and you're still rocking some little poxwalk units just for holding objectives and doing nonsense, and a lot of virulence with lone operative as well, so it's all going to be good in the hood on that one. That's a real easy one. Happy, but yeah, for me, just drop the Plague Marines, mate. You'll get more value. Just run it as a flame bus. Also means you don't have to worry about transporting and dropping guys off and things like. You can just treat it like a missile. You just be like, cool. Can put it in reserves, rapid ingress it, drive up to somewhere, burn it, whatever you want to do. Drive it through a wall, burn something, give it assault, go burn something. Because again, the problem with like carrying guys as well in Mortarian's Hammer is if you want to pop the assault strat so you can get around a corner to flame summit, you can't move advance the Rhino and then drop guys out. So it's like, oh, but I really want to get the guys out. So just taking that option away from yourself means you're not going to think about it like that. So you will just go, oh cool, I need to advance to shoot them, fine, I'll just pay it. You're not going to worry like, oh, do I get my Marines out first? Or if I do that, I can't disembark. No, just treat it like a literal, like a Battle Predator. It's just a flamethrower tank. It is a mini Land Raider Redeemer with no other purpose other than to burn people's faces off. And I think that'll allow you to play a lot better with it. Don't have to worry about making transport plays and just go and smash your opponent. And again, it plays into the game right now. Just kill people because apparently that's where we're at. And also the extra Mythic Blight Hauler will also come in much more useful in the game against Nightmare, which is is coming up because I guarantee these 2 5-man Plague Marines with no access to rerolls are not going to do anything in that game, unfortunately. So yay, Knights, you woo. I was really hoping I could get to a point where I could do Plague Surgeries and like Vanguard Tactics list review streams I do for them without having to start every single list with. But how does it deal with Knights? Yeah, that's not happening. Cool, and we got Big God coming up next. I've only ever painted Death Guard, never played them on the table. Both styles of Termies are models that I really like, but I want to try for a local tourney in a few weeks. Thoughts? Little stinkers. Death Lord's chosen. So we've got Demon Prince of Nurgle, we've got a Lord of Contagion with the Face of Death, a lot of Virulence with the Vile Vigor, a Tallyman, and Typhus. So we got 2 squads of Plague Marines here and a Rhino. We've got a 5-man squad of Blight Lord Terminators here. We've got a 6-man squad of Death Shroud Terminators here. We've got a 3-man squad of Death Shroud Terminators here. 2 Pathetic Blow Drones with launchers. 1 Pathetic Blight Hauler and 2 squads of Poxwalkers. So, my head right now is that if you want to play Death Lord's Chosen, you really have to unless, so there's 3 things I feel like I want a Death Lord's Chosen list to do. And if your units don't fulfill any of these, I feel like it's probably not going to make it into the list for myself. So the first one is, does it play mission-y, scory stuff? Poxwalkers, Tallyman, things like that. Sure thing. Great. We all need stuff to hold things. That's fine. Second one, does it give your unit some form of reach? Does it give yourself some long-range firepower? Because, again, it's very important to still have guns, so your opponent can't just sit tanks in the open and shoot you all game. So that's where our HBL drones and our Mythic Blight Holes come into play. So they always want to be in your list. And then the third thing to take into account, is it a Terminator? If it is none of those things, it struggles to perform well. So right here we've got 2 squads of Plague Marines, 180 plus the Rhino, so that's 270, so 255 points of guys in a Rhino that gain nothing from the detachment and contribute very little to it. Like, they spread contagion at range, like you can shoot things, but you would be better just putting more aggressive units in the list that can be up there spreading contagion naturally. Or, alternatively, being a better shooting platform, like another HBL drone or another Fake Blight Hauler. So, like, if I could turn that into, like, straight up, I would turn one of these Plague Marines into a second Pathetic Blight Hauler. Just drop Face of Death. It's if you've got any points left, just always drop Face of Death. Like, it's nice to have, not needed. It's like one of those cute. If you got the points, you don't need it. those two there into a second Pathetic Blight Hauler. So we've got 2 Blight Haulers, 2 FBL drones, FBH drones. That's nice. Now, when it comes to Blight Lord Terminators, especially if I'm going to be rocking a Vile Vigor, Lord of Virulence, which is quite an investment, I'm immediately wanting that to be a 10-man. I want the most impact I can out of this unit to have a big anchor. So the way I play Death Lord's Chosen is 3 minimum squads of Death Shroud, and then a big brick of Blight Lord Terminators. Now, you have gone the opposite way, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You had to understand the roles change a bit. So now your almost Anvil unit becomes like your Death Shroud, even though they want to drop down and go kill something. But that's okay. Just understand that these Blight Lords don't get as much value, and it makes me not as eager to take Vile Vigor. Like, Vile Vigor is good, but it's not. It's good because what Vile Vigor allows you to do is it allows you to start your big Blight Lord brick on the table rather than in reserves, and reliably be able to get to the mid board quickly because you get +1 move and you can reroll your advances for free without having to spend command points. So you can reliably get like a 10-inch move a turn and still be shooting, and potentially still shoot, which is really nice. If you're only starting a 5-man, it doesn't really do the role of the anchor half as good because obviously you got literally half the wounds, half the models there. So if I'm going to just run a 5-man Lord of Virulence with the Blight Lord Terminators, I would probably just drop Vile Vigor there. I just don't feel like it. It's still a good enhancement, so if you only got points for just that, sure thing, that's fine. But right now, like I would probably drop that Vile Vigor off there if you're just going to run it with a 5-man squad of Blight Lord Terminators. The Demon Prince of Nurgle is an interesting one because he can sort of become your Anvil in a way, because he has got low up and he's toughness 12. Without the feel no pain, he makes me a little uneasy. And the other thing I have is that his strats in Death Lord's Chosen are decent. And again, if I was to have the 10-man Blight Lord brick here, I'd actually like him a lot more because he can basically follow. The brick can follow him around, giving him loan up all the time, and then he can every single turn give them assault for free. He's just like, take a CP for assault, guarantee every turn. There you go, num eat that, num eat that, and then when they go to charge, then he can maybe give them the impact. Without that, again, I'm not really looking to spend a CP to just advance and shoot like 5 guys. Like I will do, don't get me wrong, I will do, but I would prefer a lot more intense. So I would personally like. My personal choice would be to like get rid of the Plague Marines and the Rhino, mash that up to a big 10-man squad with that Lord of Virulence, and I would probably split off the 6-man into 3 3-mans. I think that's probably where I'd go if you want to keep the Demon Prince. If you want to keep the Demon Prince, that is. So I think you need to make a choice whether you want your Demon Prince or you want the Plague Marines in the list. Because I feel like the Blight Lord brick works better as an anchor with the Demon Prince. Whereas outside of that, the Blight Lords, for me, kind of just want to just drop down, shoot something. Like, I've seen Warp Rot Talisman be used on Blight Lord Terminators and Lord of Virulence because you can obviously start in reserves, you can drop down, shoot away a unit. If your opponent doesn't react and kill you, and obviously you can take angles because you're a shooting unit. You don't have to be like 6 inches away and try and charge. So you shoot something off, and then you can pick back up and then come back down elsewhere and shoot something else. So that is also an option if you can try and get Warp Rot Talisman in there. But all that being said, like again, Dave runs 6-man Death Shroud Terminators. They're still incredibly scary. They will kill pretty much everything they touch. If you do run a 6-man Death Shroud Terminator squad, though, I might be tempted to tell you to put Lord of Contagion in the 3-man and then put Typhus in the big 6-man, because the 6-man should kind of just punch most things to death just off pure weight of dice, and because again they got great stats. Whereas the 3-man might struggle a little bit sometimes. Having Lord of Contagion in there adds a lot more damage to that squad. And again, if the 6-man is going to be your anchor unit, being able to give that thing -1 to be hitting close combat as well is going to help you win those brawl games. So just be aware that might be a little bit of a choice I'd make on the detachments. But straight away from me, if I was just make choices right now, get rid of the Plague Marines, get rid of the Rhino, get yourself a second Pathetic Blight Hauler at least, get rid of Face of Death as well, and then you can use these 95 plus 85 points you've got left here. So what's that, 100 and, sorry, brain no worky, 170 points. You're almost close to getting, again, another, like, big brick of Blight Lords. You could get another 5 Blight Terminators in there. Or you could just get another 3 Death Shroud Terminators. Bare bones. That I I would also much prefer that. I just don't think the Plague Marines in here just do enough. They just don't. Again, if you were taking a more generic detachment like VV, then the Plague Marines have play, because again, 1 CP to roll, hits and wounds. But Death Lord's chosen, play to your strengths, mate. Just play to your strengths. So, again, if this is all you've got, it's fine. It's not a bad list. You will do all right, and you'll fine. You've got a bit of everything. You've got some shooting. You've got some good terminators. You've got a nice big brick here. But again, if we were to make it like, if we were to take it to the next level for me, it would be a case of removing the Plague Marines, remove the Rhino, get yourself another Demon Engine at least, and then maybe another squad of Terminators, whether that's Death Shroud, or try and upgrade this Blight Lord brick to a big squad. That would be my suggestion there. And again, you can also potentially split this 6-man. If you do go with a big Death Shroud brick, sorry, microphone, twatted you. If you go with a big you go with a big Blight Lord brick, I would cut this Death Shroud brick into 2 3s. You don't want, because you've already got so little models, because you're playing Death Lord's Chosen, you Terminators a lot, you don't want 2 massive bricks. You want 1 big brick, the Demon Prince can exist as well, and then the other 3 kind of want to be like smaller units that can go off and just fight and kill things here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, thank you for submitting the list though, Big God. I hope you have good fun at your local tourney in a few weeks. Like you said, you never played on the tabletop, so honestly, if you are interested in Terminators, it is a good list. It's a fun list to play with Terminators like this. And honestly, even if you keep the play, if you make no changes, you should pull away a win, and I think you'll still have fun regardless. So don't, again, just remember, my advice is always try and take it to like an extra level of thingy. But yeah, a good suggestion as well. Birch is in the chat suggests if you do want to try both Terminators and Plague Marines, like I said, you can check out VV, or even Flyblown Host might be interesting, because that's going to give them all that extra layer of durability. Also, that gives that Mythic Blight Hole a little extra new roll to give things -1 to wounded as well. So again, just detachment or choices or unit choices. Have a think about what you want to get out of. Thank you very much, Ryan. I always forget this. Ryan Dragon. That's it. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, mate. Really appreciate it. Hello, it's your boy Potato. It's Mr. Potato. Gonna play the cockery today. Have fun playing with your cock today, Mr. Potato. I'm sure, like many of us, you will have an absolute blast while doing so. Thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships, mate. Really appreciate that. And if you did just get gifted a membership and you are not a member of our Discord, go to our YouTube channel homepage. Click the See Perks button. There'll be a link to join the Discord. Now, remember, get yourself in there. Once you're inside there, on your Discord settings, go to your connections and your settings. Connections, link it to your YouTube, and the great Carl bot will do the rest. Link all your account and unlock the full server for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Potato. Thank you so much. Next up, we've got Moltred coming in here. So let's go. Wheels on the bus go round and round. Actually, quite like that. That's good. I've got a lot of other available units, so please feel free to make as many changes as you want. I know it's odd, but I've considered 1 PBC instead of the 2 MBH just to force engagement with indirect, considering that would give me the 2 10 points needed. So, Chaos, Death Guard, Virulent Vectorum, 1990 points. We've got Mystery Mutarian is here, and then we've got the Revolting Regeneration Demon Prince of Nurgle. Then we've got Lord of Contagion, Double fucking words, Malignant Playcaster, double Tallyman, 5 Plague Marines, 5 Plague Marines, 1 squad of Death Shroud Terminators, 2 squad of Death Shroud Terminators, 2 squads of Poxwalkers, 2 Mythic Blight Horrors, and 8 Chaos Rhino as well. Feel free to tear apart. I own a lot of other Death Guard units. Oh, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships then, Wolfred. I'm about to tear you apart. I feel really bad. No, I'm not going to tear you apart. Don't worry, but thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, guys. It really helps keep lights on over here, and helps keep the channel growing. So thank you. Okay, so I will straight admit I am not the biggest fan of the Morty Demon Prince list. However, it is proven and done well. So there is potential there. Now, the thing I always felt when I was playing it is I was so thin on the board. So I actually quite like a double Tallyman to just screen out home, because it means that you don't have to, like, I know Poxwalk is technically only 15 points more, but also guaranteeing the CP plus the Demon Prince just give you really want that CP. And minus 1 damage you're going to use a lot here, so having access to that is fine. 2 Death Shroud Terminators. Now we got 1 Lord of Contagion. We got 2. Yeah, we got 2. Yeah, Demon Prince. Yeah. I think Furnace of Plagues as well should be cut as well. I think it is too expensive. Demon Weapon of Nurgle I do like, so actually on board with you on this one here, mate, Mr. Mulford. I actually agree on that one. Now, the biggest problem I had, though, when I was playing it is the long-range shooting. I always felt like the long-range shooting was such a major issue when I played it. Like, I had 2 30 Blight Drones with HBLs, And again, one problem is they're super unreliable, so I actually think I would prefer the Blight Halls as you have here. And I think another thing that I do like about this here, a bit more than my own list when I played it, this is a bit more of an aggressive list. It has the Plague Boss, it wants to get them in close. It can also play them in reserves pretty nicely. But you also, Blight Halls, kind of want to be up and in the face of the opponent as well. I didn't see the point in the 2 HBL drones when they were on the back line because I couldn't win a tank fight with anything because I only had 2 of them. So I would have much prefer a Demon Engine like the normal ones which push up, naturally will spread that contagion to get my Death Shroud in and still be putting out firepower. So I actually like them if like Blight Hall choice here. I don't think there's actually genuinely super loads I'd change here. One thing I think I would change is I would drop a Plague Marine squad. I would probably drop a Plague Marine squad here. I think 1 is enough because the thing is when that Rhino comes out, because you're going to be using it because you want to shoot with yours because you've got Malignant Playcasters in it. I don't think he's probably going to get another round off. So I think getting 5 Plague Marines out is 10 OC. So if your plan is to flip an objective, you're probably going to do that with 5 guys. And I think after you've done this for 1 turn, the Playcasters have shot, there's a good chance. And again, the idea is to put more Mortarion Demon Prince in your opponent's face and be like, haha, shoot this instead. Because they kind of got to. But I feel like every time I lost my Rhinos, the second like Plague Marine squad just died and didn't really do anything. I think disrupting your opponent's primary like once or just having that tough unit that can sort of do actions is more than enough. And I would take those 95 points plus the 10 points you're already floating, and I would just get yourself a 3rd Demon Engine. Just for that bit of redundancy, because when you've got 2 of something and you lose 1, you're down to 50% firepower. That doesn't feel good. That and it's only in 1's place on the board. Now your opponent can just dodge it because that happened. I lost one of my HBL drones and I was just like, bollocks. I am now have 1 shooting unit in my entire army and it's not great. Because it has no rerolls. It has D6 plus 2 shots. The haulers hitting on 2s against the targets they want, the flat amount of shots, just makes me like them so much more. So I would rather have a 3rd hauler in here. And it also can force trades better than the Plague Marines can. I feel like Plague Marines can genuinely just like still die. I lost like a full squad to like some World Eater spawn, which really annoyed me. So again, that's not going to happen to something like a Pathetic Blight Hall. It forces people to come out with those big units, and then you can strike back with 2 of them, or drop Death Shroud on it. And again, Pathetic Blight Halls naturally want to be getting up close. They naturally want to be spreading contagion, where this list can kind of struggle with that sometimes, because you just don't have enough units to push forward and do that. Also, don't forget, a single Malignant Playcaster can still give the Demon Prince loan up. So if you're ever in a struggling position, you can drop off one of these guys behind a wall next to Demon Prince to just make sure he still has loan up there. So that would probably be the only change I'm actually going to suggest here, Moltred. I think actually this is kind of where I would have took my list naturally. Because the thing is, I could tell you right now to like drop a Tallyman, and then what? We drop a Tallyman, and then we go where with it? Like, this is the problem. Like, what can you get 50 points? Nothing really. Like the tally. So keep the 2 Tallyman. They can be like your home screeners. And probably a Poxwalk unit. You can have 1 Poxwalk unit sort of in the midfield. And then what you can have is you can have the 1 Plague Marine squad still fine, because they can just, again, flip a primary, do an objective, do an action, do whatever you need them to do. And they can also sometimes, you know, pay a CP, full rolls to hit and wound, or just a grenade even. Like, just a grenade here and there is fine as well. But I would much prefer to have that 3rd Pathetic Blight Hall. So that's the only change I'm probably going to suggest here. And it also makes use of your spare 10 points, so then you're 1995 rather than 1990, because that always feels naughty and feels bad that to have 10 points just wasted. So yeah, that's probably the only change I'm going to recommend here. See how that goes, see how it gets on. I wish I had the 3 Pathetic Blight Halls, I'm not going to lie, because every time I shot those HBL drones, I rolled a 1 or a 2, and it made me very upset. So yeah, I think that's all I'm really going to suggest for you there, Moltred. I'd give that a go, see how that plays out, and also you'll feel less light on the ground, because when everything's in the Rhino, you deploy it and you're like, oh great, there's like 4 of my drops. At least you get another drop here as well, another Pathetic Blight Hauler, so your opponent's not going to get as much information. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go here. Opposite take could be potentially to just take away from the MBH drone and just go for a flesh mode drone or something like that instead. Again, something aggressive, get up into your opponent's face, start spreading contagion, doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would just go with the Blight Hauler, because I really like the Blight Hauler for the simple reason it just doesn't need support. It hits on 2s against the targets you want to shoot. Yes, I understand if you go against Genestealer cults and stuff, it doesn't really do great, but like, such is life. Like, if I roll a 1 on an HBL drone into Genestealer cults, doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna have 3, well, potentially, you know, I have 7 shots on it. If they're a full 20-man squad, I get 4 on blast. Ooh, it's not gonna kill anything. Like, again, it's going to hit on 3s, so I'm going to drop down to 5 hits. Wound on 2, so I'll probably drop 1. So I kill 4. Like, it's not making a difference. It's in those matchups, it doesn't make a difference enough. So yeah, I would rather just have the ability to make my opponents, like, Forge Fiend stuff be a little bit more scared, because they were just not scared. The second I was like, yeah, it's D6 plus 2 shots. Only one's going to be able to see you. It wounds you on a 4, because it's strength 10, and then it's only AP 1 at range. They were just like, oh yeah, I don't care. Like, I'll just stay behind cover, have a 4-up save. And, like, even when 2 get through, it's like, cool, I'm half health, and I'll shoot you, kill your drone, and now you have nothing to shoot me back. Whereas at least the Halls, it's like, they hit you on 2s, they have +1 to wound, they also have lethal hits, and they will AP 4/5, depending on contagion, and it's potentially up to 8 damage if I'm close enough, or just D6 per. Because I've had it where I've shot them, and I've hit 2 multi-melters, at range even, not even close, and they failed both their invulns, so they don't have a save because AP 5, and then I roll like a 4 and a 5 on the damage, and I'm like, cool, there's 9 damage, like, you're pretty much almost dead. And then Morty at that point can go, cool, here's a rot wind, oh, there's 2 death wounds, bye-bye. So, I much prefer them over the HBL drones in this particular list. Plus, they're cheaper, and you really need the points in these kind of lists, because again, if they were HBL drones, you're going to have to, like, drop a talisman, which means even less backfield screening, which, ugh, no thank you. So yeah, thank you very much, Moltred. I hope that helps, mate. Hope that is helpful for you. Right, up next, who have we got? I'm going to keep listing my people, find a list of people that I was doing. Crazy Dave. We're after Crazy Dave. Where you at, Crazy Dave? And his plants. Crazy Dave, there you go. Okay, 1,250 points. Okay. So, comp army, 1,240. Playing Flyblown Host. Okay. Load of Contagion with Insectile Murmurations. That is the roll 1s to wound, I believe, against things that are in Contagion. Or is it roll 1s to hit? It's been a while. Maybe roll 1s to wound or hit. I can't fully remember. Then you got a lot of runs with Joining Chorus. I know that is the assault keyword on everything like that. 5 Plague Marines. 2 Plague Weapons, Melter Gun, Blight Launcher. 7 Plague Marines, Rhino. No character support for those guys. Okay, no problem. Blight Lord Terminators, Death Shroud Terminators, 1 2 Thick Blight Halls, 2 Squads of Poxwalkers. So, I don't think at this point Flyblown Host is going to be worth it. Because Flyblown Host right now, you are getting the benefit of Scout on like this squad alone. Because this Rhino is not going to scout because their guys are embarked within it. The Death Shroud are going to be in reserves, and the rest of your list doesn't get any benefit from it. So, I think the list itself is not too bad. I think the detachment choice is probably not the way to go. Given the fact you have 5 Black Lord Terminators, you've got 2 squads of Plague Marines here, and a squad of Death Shroud Terminators, I genuinely think this would just be better ran as like a Virulent Vectorium or a Champions. Not even Champions probably, because Champions would you would want characters for your Plague Marines, and that doesn't really work. Champions at small points cost. I think this would just honestly work better as Virulent Vectorium, because then you can have a lot of Contagion. You can drop Insectile Imitation and instead just pick up Demon Weapon of Nurgle. It is 10 points cheaper, and that buff to him alone will make it do far more damage than this thing will. Because again, crit 5's Lord of Contagion is crazy on the charge. And then the Lord of Virulence, for example. What could you pick up? You could even just pick up the Feel No Pain on him for that. You got 10 points spare anyway, so you could technically just get the Feel No Pain on him. And again, Feel No Pain is not too bad to have on the Blight Lord. So you get him with 5 up Feel No Pain. Makes him a little bit more punchy. He can sit in 5 Blight Lord Terminators. And then the thing is, because you've got that, you can just have these squads have full rerolls to hit and wound for 1 command point. This squad here is going to have full rerolls to wound because of the Lord of Virulence, and because he marks a target, they'll also have reroll ones to hit. And this squad of Death Shroud here will just slam absolutely ridiculously hard. And then you've got 2 little demon engines to back that up, and 2 squads of Poxwalkers. I think straight up, just that one change there makes this list instantly better. Like, just like that. I think it just makes so much more sense for it. Now, if you're going to do that, at that point, you could also make an argument potentially to make this into a... You put that into 60 points, potentially. You could have a big brick of Plague Marines instead. But I don't think that might be the play, actually. I think instead, maybe we go down 35 points. That brings us down 35. But can we get anything for those 35 points is the question. If you make them both 5-mans, because you can't get a character in there anymore, which doesn't feel great, you have 15 points off getting a talisman, which again, this comes down 10 points. Then I'm going to float in 5. Actually, yeah, I probably would actually just do that instead. So I would probably not bother with the Feel No Pain Lord of Virulence, and I would probably just get yourself a talisman. So drop Droning Chorus, change in Sixth Admiration to Demon Weapon of Nurgle, go 5-man, 5-man, get a talisman, sit him on home. Or you can potentially, if you can stretch, I can't remember if the points will fit. If you can get another 10, I don't know if the points are accurate there, but if you can get another 10 points there, you can potentially go for a Biology Putrefy and one of the 5-man squads, just so one of the 5-man squads has access to crit 5s, or even a playcaster, because like the same points, they're both 60, aren't they, which is silly. So you could do that. That would, I think, also be a little bit better there, because you don't really gain too much for a 7-man squad. You gain like the extra 2 biotic weapons, but that's not going to help you out in the detachment of VV when you're looking to mainly do the damage in the shooting phase. So I would probably do that. I would drop this heavy plague weapon here into a spewer, a plague sprayer. So a plague spewer, the 2-up anti-infantry one. So I'd have one heavy plague weapon and the power fist. Then I'd have plasma gun, melter or plasma gun, blight launcher, spewer, and that times 2. Use the points with the enhancement changes to get yourself a talisman to sit on home, because that means you can play more midfield with these Poxwalkers, which is going to be really good for trading and starting those fights off. Have a Blight Lord Terminator squad with a Lord of Virulence. Again, then you can have potentially 2 squads every turn, full rolls to wound, one squad have full rolls to hit, the other squad having roll hit rolls of 1 and full on the blast weapon, and then you've still got an incredibly scary unit of Death Shroud Terminators that can come in and slap something. I think that there just... again, that's just a detachment change. That's the detachment change. Drop 2 Plague Marines, get yourself a talisman. I think that makes the list like just better, because it also means you're freeing up something to sit on your home objective. You're going to get you some more CP in detachment, which really likes that, because again, 2 CP -1 damage is really good. 1 CP reroll everything is also really good. I think that would make a really nice 1,250 points list there, using the majority of things that you already have. So that's my suggestion for that one, Mr. Crazy Dave. So yeah, I think change detachment, drop this to Demon Weapon of Nurgle, drop Droning Chorus entirely, drop this second squad of Plague Marines down to a 5-man, and then get yourself a talisman. And I think that will get you a nice, well-rounded list. We've still got a nice amount of bite in it, and a bit more utility for the sake of 2 Plague Marines. I think that's just going to do a little bit better. So thank you very much, Mr. Crazy Dave. I think that's going to be that one there. Right, anyone else coming up? Who's next? Right, okay. So that is everyone there. Okay, cool. Right, everyone is happy in there. Happy days. Good lord, there's still quite a few of you guys, isn't there? Right, okay. Is anyone in the chat right now whose list is on here and would like to be looked at? Because we always try to give priority to chat. So if you are here, guys, please give me a quick shout. I'll just tick these off so I know I've done them. And if you are in the chat and would like me to look at it, I will prioritize your guys. If not, we will just scroll up until we get to one we have not looked at. Potato, we did do your cockery, didn't we? Yep, did that one. We've got to do JDs as well at some point. Okay, we'll do JDs. Oh, no, I've done that one. That's ticked. Yeah, it's ticked. Cool. So, yeah, let us know. I posted Eladan in Discord. Let's go, Phil. Eladan. It's like Illidan. Cool. V for Virulence. V for Vendetta. So we got a Ballast Putrefire, Demon Prince of Nurgle with Rotten Regeneration, 1 Lord of Contagion. Oh, it's just 1. 2, sorry, Lord of Virulence, Malignant Playcaster, and a Mortarion. Okay, so we got a Morty Demon Prince list. Okay, 10 Brick of Plague Marines. 10 Brick of Plague Marines. Okay, that's quite an expensive unit to go along Morty Demon Prince, but it is good. It is good. We've just got the Ballast Putrefire. Yeah, oh no, we got the Playcaster as well. So very scary Plague Marine unit. 3-man Blight Lord Terminators. Okay. 1 squad of Chaos Spawn. Do like that. Do like the Death Shroud Terminator squad. Heavy Blight Launcher drone. 2 of those. As I said before, again, you do. I don't like them alone, but you have got an LOV in this list. Now, the thing that makes me interested is the LOV and the Blight Lord Terminator. Okay, so it's a weird one, this one. When it comes to LOV and Blight Lords, 3-man is not something I've particularly tried out so much. However, that being said, I actually can see slight potential with this, because you got to remember, in the 3-man squad, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't particularly like the idea of putting a 100-point character in the 3-man squad. But if I was gonna put a character in there, I probably would put this one in there because you have a spewer on the Lord, and you in the 3-man squad you still get a spewer. So you still have 2d6 anti-infantry 2-up, AP 2/3 if you're in contagion range with -1 save, ignores cover with real wounds. That will reliably kill quite a lot of like guardsmen and stuff. Or there's quite good on Overwatch as well. There's a scary amount of Overwatch at a high AP, so that's pretty good. You also then follow up with two rounds of bolters, so you get 8 bolter shots. You will reliably kill like 10-man squads of like infantry or chaffies. Nothing wrong with that. Now, if you're also bringing in because you want to make these HBL drones more reliable, I'm cool with that as well. Plus, you can also then back up your Morty spell and Lantern a little bit as well. So I don't particularly dislike that. Now, you also have got 3 squads of Poxwalkers. This build normally has the 3. That is very important to still have the 3, so I like the fact that we've got them. 1 will sort of be relegated to home objective, 2 to play outfield. This Plague Marine brick is an interesting one because you've already got quite expensive units, but you are sacrificing a Death Shroud Terminator squad. So technically you are going from 280 point unit to a 225 point unit, which can still bully a little bit, but also needs a bit more supporty in how it else functions, because like you're supporting these makes these actually kind of semi-reliable at range, which I do like, because then you can engage in that long-range firefight we said before. So don't actually mind that too much, to be honest with you. I like Unit of Chaos Spawn, because I always feel like you need to just get somewhere you need to get to have a big Death Shroud drop, which is really good. Yeah, the HC been on the Blight Lords with level 8 unit. Okay, so you can also keep the Demon Prince later on. And normally we just use 10 Poxwalkers around middle, to keep the guy safe in lone up, because also Mortarion likes doing bullshit reactive moves with those guys, the Poxwalkers. But I can see the Blight Lord 3-man, it does the job. That's nothing wrong with that. The Plague Marine brick is incredibly scary and nice to have in the wings. I do really like it. Like again, 1 CP to roll literally everything with 5+ crit lethal sustained is just crazy. Like, it's so stupid. And then again, you have the melee as well to potentially clean things up. Like, it can one-tap a knight, it can one-tap the lion. So having units like that is really nice. It's a little bit of a different one, because normally, like, the way it works is like the Death Shroud like come in as like a first sort of wave and cause chaos on your opponent's lines. I don't mind just having 1 Death Shroud squad. I feel like something has to give in this list. So instead of like giving up we've actually kept power in the Plague Marine unit here, and instead of that we've alternated that out. So we side graded that technically to get the Death Shroud out instead, the Lord of Contagion, and then come back in with a Blight Terms. Because again, I don't actually mind this. Like again, 2d6 anti-infantry 2-up at AP3, followed up by 2 bolters, 2 8-shot bolt, 2 bolters for 8 shots. That's AP2. Will kill chaff. Like, genuinely will kill chaff. And it will even kill a few marine bodies, especially if you roll a good amount of the shots on the actual wound amounts. I do not mind that. Also pretty decent for doing secondaries, as someone said in chat. Mr. Birch, yep, totally fine for doing that. Again, something here needs to be doing secondary. It's even with Poxwalkers or the Chaos Spawn. Chaos Spawn are probably going to need to be advancing to get a good drop for the Death Shroud Terminators off. So having 3 guys do that, I do not mind, because again, the Lord of Realms can still put out abilities, so he can still use his rerolls while doing action, so he's still getting some value out of that as well. And again, it makes me like these HBL drones more, because the 2 of them unsupported I really hated. They were so unreliable. So being able to give them full rolls to hit makes me like them a lot more, because it just means that even if you don't get the greatest amount of shots, so maybe say like you roll double, like a 3 and a 3, which is under average. Like, so you get, 5 shots per drone, you get 10 shots, you're still going to hit with like 9 of them on average, which is nice. That genuinely still makes that pretty good. So do like that. And you get a couple so you can do actions with it, which is pretty nice. So you know what, actually, the more I think about it, do not mind it. Like, obviously, I would obviously prefer it in a larger squad, but again, we're playing Morty Demon Prince here. Like, some cuts have to be made somewhere. We have to make, decisions at a certain point, and I think that's a fair place to put it. I also think I do quite, what, that's not bad. I think, again, if you it's a weird one to play, because I like the reactive move with a 10-man. When I was playing the reactive move with the 5-man Marines, like, when I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I could reactive move these 5 Marines to get them back in a Rhino, but, like, why? Like, does like 5 Marines do much in most instances? Like, it can do, but again, I don't need them, like, do I care to reactive move them over like reactive moving the Demon Prince or reactive moving Mortarion? Now having like the good thing I like about this, the one thing I do love about this combo is you put the Demon Prince in the middle objective with Lone Op, and then you get out the Marines around him and they shoot something to death. And then if your opponent wants to come and stand on the objective and deny it, or wants to come and shoot the Demon Prince who's holding the objective, they have to come within 12. If you just make sure to come within 12 of him, they have to come within 9 of the Plague Marines, you can basically guarantee that you are either going to A, hold primary, or B, always be able to get back into your Rhino. And I would happily take getting my Plague Marines of a 10-man squad back into a Rhino if it means letting my Lord Demon Prince get shot. Because again, Demon Prince can sometimes just tank it, and the thing that comes out, if the thing that comes out is at risk of one-shotting my Demon Prince, I would rather just get back in the thingy, hop out, and then one-shot that thing back. Oh no, sorry Dave, I'm having to do it early because I'm on raid night tonight. My guild needs me on WoW, so I'll be raiding at 7:15, so I need to be off for 7. Sorry, Mr. Dave, that's my bad. Something came up in the game. I gave the Potswogger's Fire and Death versus Slut Assessors. Okay, so this is a weird one. So no, if a single model was alive in the squad, then yes, you would regenerate. But once you are fully wiped, I can't. We had this discussion ages ago, and we did look into it. We had to dig through so many rules, but it's something to do with the timing of when Fight and Death happens. The unit is still, because the model is still considered dead. So, for example, certain units have rules where, like, if the unit itself is below half strength, it can reroll everything, like Death Company. They count as being destroyed. So, if all 10 of them have been killed, they are counted as being destroyed, so the unit is dead. So there's nothing to add back to because the model, even though it's physically on the board, is counted as destroyed. But if a single one lived, so if you had 20 Poxwalkers and they killed 19, and then 19 fought on death and somehow by miracle killed like 13 guardsmen, you would have 14 Poxwalkers left. So yes, there is that, which is weirdly funny and weirdly stupid. But no, if the entire unit gets wiped in one, unfortunately, you do not get to regenerate and keep a guy alive. This one, I was hoping so much it would be true, but unfortunately, looking into it, yeah, not the case, unfortunately. Nurgle Cultist, Aiden, how do you feel about Predator Structures now? So Predator Structures are weird, man. I like the Predator. So the Predator Structure, pros and cons. Pros, the shot count is steady and reliable. There is no, ooh, what if I roll low? It's just bang. Like, I'm either shooting 6 or 4 shots, and then all my heavy bolters are shooting 3 each, all my last cannons just going last cannon things. The only made up thing is the Havoc launcher, but again, like, who really cares about that? So I really like the sense of that. The one thing I dislike about the new Predator is its rule. I much preferred the old Selfish Predator, where it would just give itself +1 AP against any infantry it shot. Now, they have better support role because they set up the rest of your army, but sometimes I don't want to have a second Predator to get used out of the rules. So like the first one shoots it, applies the debuff, the second one shoots with the debuff applied. I would rather them just be self-contained. At 145, I feel like 140 or 145, whatever they are, I feel like they're overcosted a bit. I feel like they need to come down a little bit because the thing is, they have a good amount of firepower. They're pretty damn good. They got a nice. The rule is good. I'm not gonna say the rule's bad, but I hate the fact it requires 1 to shoot, then it's trigger. I wish it would proc for itself almost. But the problem with it is they die so easy. They have no invulnerable saves, so you have no chance to just absolutely scum someone by getting invulnerables. Now, if you have a specific role for it, as David alluded to in the chat, if you have something that has naturally low AP, like Black Lord Terminators, even though the rule's amazing for them now, setting it up as I like putting 1. So like if I think 1, he's going in reserves, and he's going to come on at an angle, and he's going to shoot at something I want to put damage at to, and then his bolter and his Havoc launcher is going to go something I want to tag. And that will then be followed up by something, as Dave said, like Black Lord Terminators, AP4 Flamers, AP4 auto cannons, AP3 bolters, AP4 blight launchers. That is stupid. That is really stupid. So that I also like on Death Shroud Terminator Flamers because it takes them to 2 up. It takes them to AP2, which is really nice because then it puts anything that's invulnerable onto their invulnerable because again it ignores cover. So I also like it there. So there are uses for Predator. I do not mind them, but I feel like I'm not sure if they replace the long range anti-tank that HBL drones can kind of do. And again, kind of still, because it's only strength 10, and it's only AP2 at range. Again, I wish it was like, you need to have them in contagion, really. So they're, to me, I look at them in a different role. But I do like the reliability of them. I do like the fact they can come on from strategic reserves, shoot something and set it up for killing. I just don't like how they only have that, you know, like, again, a fire dragon unit looks at them and just goes boop dead, which is upsetting. Whereas, like, I've had, you know, 5 fire dragons come out, shoot a bloat drone. I mean, I had 4 custodian guard put 10 wounds onto a bloat drone that had 3 wounds left, and I passed 9 out of 10 5-ups and just scummed the guy. Like, you, again, the scum of the invuln can sometimes just save the day and make your point have a bad day, whereas like the predator would just go pop. So it's, again, swings and roundabouts, but I don't dislike them. I'm just not sure if I look at them in the same role as the HBL. Now, if they came down to 130 like they used to be, then I don't even think I'd potentially... That's a much more interesting discussion. I think I'd probably just take predators most of the time then, just for the reliability, enough to worry about the stupid HBL drone. And again, also consider the meta. We aren't getting rid of knights anytime soon. God, I wish we were, but we're not. Which means predator structures still aren't the greatest, because knight meta exists, so infantry meta is struggling a little bit. So it doesn't really get its moment to shine as much as I wish it did. Now, if something gets fixed about that and we do start seeing infantry meta, then I think predators make a real contention to being back in the list. You should only ever take 3, because you never take the Annihilator, because it is dog shit. I don't care what anyone says, the Annihilator is not a good unit. It is 3 las cannons and a meme chance to do mortal wounds, and that is it. That is it. Nope. Just take a hauler for like way cheaper. I hate that Annihilator so much. It's so bad. But yeah, so yeah, that's probably my thing there. So yeah, I actually don't mind this list, Mr. Elden. I think this is pretty good. I think this is. I like the idea of it. Again, I'd have to see how it plays. I'm worried about, like, again, I was initially worried that you got Plague Marine Brick, but again, you've made the choice to cut a Death Shroud squad, so that's fine. I think you're allowed 2 very scary units top of this, so you got your Death Shroud squad and your Plague Marine squad, and then the rest of it has to be cheap around it. But I would like to see how it goes. And I do think this single LOV in here does make it a little bit more reliable in terms of the output the HBL drones can actually put out, which means I don't hate them as much. But you'd have to see how it goes. Again, it's a really strange list. Mortarion Demon Prince is not a list you can just put on the table. Learned that one first hand. You have to play it, and if you enjoy it, you really need to practice it, because you really need to see all the silly little plays that Mortarion can make. Once you start understanding all the little plays, the list will click for you a lot more, and you'll do a lot better with it. It wasn't for me. Doesn't mean it's bad, though. Again, everyone has different things. So the list beat Dark Angels, Lion, something. Okay, so if you're doing well with it, mate, keep playing it. Keep playing it. Looks like you're doing pretty good. So you just keep playing it, mate. Yeah, mate, I'm so sick of Knights, Phil. I'm so sick of them. I actually, like, I genuinely detest the army. And I've Mr. Rank 1 Knight player, Reese Davril, who's lovely, by the way. I actually loved Reese. He has openly said that their new book is, like, toxic and just going to be bad for the game. So I'm going to take his word for it on that one. And I've already seen what it can do. And, yeah, that's the thing. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to save that one for my Tuesday rant. No doubt Dave will want to hear me explode about Knights. Right. That's all we've got time for tonight, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hopefully managed to get through quite a few there. I'll be back on Sunday coming to do another one. If I get time in the week, I will try and do another, but I know people have been wanting to do an event recap, and I can still just about remember what happened at my RTT, so I can do that instead, because I need to keep the content, like, balanced. I'm going to try and do Infection Critical this week, because we've got some interesting lists to look at, which are doing well with the new points, which is going to be interesting. Do I like Land Raiders? I love Land Raiders. Land Raiders, however, they're not even a meme. Like, you can do well with Land Raider. We've seen that with Zito and stuff like that. They are just a bit all or nothing. And given how our army all went up in cost, it's hard to sometimes fit them in. But I do think that a Land Raider is often overlooked, and it adds a different element to an army that if someone's not prepared for, you can really just run them over. So, I mean, the one time I have played a Land Raider, I have shot its 4 last cannons turn 1 at a Riptide, and he failed all the invulnerables and I one-shot it. So, maybe, I don't know if I love Land Raiders, but Land Raiders apparently love me. Or they really hate Tau. Probably the latter, I think. Do I think this will be the week for Slate? let's just say if this is the week for Slate, there will be a stream on Wednesday when the Slate definitely will not drop. So I genuinely have no inside information, but like my money would be on it's gotta be this week. My money. So if it's not, cry, I guess. But if it is, then we'll be here. No, you worry. We'll be here to talk about it. Right. Anyways, I need to head off. So I will catch you all on the next episode of Disgusting Resident Podcast. I have 10 minutes to get a drink, get ready, and then get logged on from your aid. So thank you for tuning in tonight, guys. I hope you guys have got some good advice in your lists and whatnot. I don't know if it's good. I just kind of ramble, and hopefully you guys listen and think I'm smart. But we're back on tomorrow, maybe for an event recap. Tuesday, definitely, and Wednesday if there is a Slate drop. So you could be in for the 4 days of DRP. The guys brought to me so much content. I'm not to sing Christmas songs, apparently it's bad luck. Anyway, I am rambling. So until the next episode, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay rotten. Take care. Pray for us in the data slate because I am absolutely mortally terrified. And delete nights from the game. That would be fantastic. And that's all I ask for. It's all I want for Christmas. Santa Claus, please delete nights from Warhammer 40,000. Until then, take care, guys. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye. And then I'm going to wait like 20 seconds because if I say it right now, the stream will cut out while I'm mid-sentence. Super annoying. 1, 2, 3.